Welcome back. Here with us on Mirror Now, let's talk about another big story of today. The farmers who are called as Annadata in the country, who've been protesting around the borders of the national capital against NDAs 3 farm laws for over a year now, are finally going to have an important meeting tomorrow around 12 in the afternoon. They are going to discuss the next step from here on. Will farmers continue with the protest or will they call it off? That decision will be taken in this very important meeting that's going to happen tomorrow. We are being told a revised draft proposal given by the centre has been accepted by the farmers, and this draft, the revised proposal in fact includes assurances on MSP and withdrawal of police cases, the other demands that the farmers were making. And that's going to be our focus now over the next few minutes. We are going to be joined by Mr. Yogendra Yadav, Chief Swaraj India. Good evening, Mr. Yogendra Yadav. Thank you very much for joining us here on Mirror Now. I want to simply ask you, so the government has met all your demands?
Well, let me put things in perspective. On the 19th of last month, the Prime Minister said all the 3 laws would be repealed. We said, well, we welcome it, but there are 6 pending issues on which we would like to hear from the government. For 2 weeks, we did not hear from the government at all. Yesterday, we got a draft response from the government. We held a meeting and we thought the response didn't quite meet, wasn't satisfactory, didn't quite meet our expectations. And we had some serious questions, which we conveyed to the government yesterday. Today, we got a draft. A revised draft from the government side. We held a meeting, we considered it, and we took a call, a unanimous call of all the farmers' organizations to say, okay, this version is acceptable. Did they meet all our demands? No, that doesn't happen. In any negotiated settlement, in any discussions, you cannot say, every single thing that I demand must happen. But on balance, farmers' organizations said, that if we get this, the proposal that was sent from the government side, we have decided, and I can confirm to you, we have decided that if we get that as a signed agreement from the government tomorrow, then we would take a call about concluding our morchas in Delhi.
That's a very important statement that you're making, sir. If you get a signed agreement from the government on the basis of the revised draft that was sent to you today, then if I'm correct here, you will call off the protest? That's the plan, if you get the signed agreement, or you will still think about it?
I can confirm to you that within the morcha, the agreement was quite clear and unanimous that yes, once we get the signed agreement from the government, and if it is exactly the same that was sent to us today and we have agreed, then yes, tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we shall take a call about lifting the morchas, about concluding the morchas, not only in Delhi, but all over the country. We have morchas, dharnas going on everywhere. We will take a call exactly at 12 o'clock. And yes, you heard me right, our assessment is positive, constructive. Once the government agrees to this, then yes, this particular phase could well end.
Are you feeling relieved today that after so many months, finally, the demands that you were making, the demands that farmers who are protesting on the borders of the national capital were making are going to be met, if not fully, at least partially? Are you feeling relieved?
Light at the end of a very long and dark tunnel. There were times when we thought nothing was going to come out of it. Everyone told us, "Arey Modi Sarkar hai, kuch nahi degi. Kuch nahi change hoga. Why are you trying? Why are you banging your head against a stone?" We kept on and on and on. When the Prime Minister made a declaration on the 19th, many persons, including our well-wishers, said, "Ab aur kuch mat mango, ab utho aur jao. Ab aur kya mil sakta hai?" We said, "Nahi, there are issues we have to place before the government." Of course, once the Prime Minister accepts our basic demands, then we went with an open mind, with a very flexible, moderate attitude. That is because our big demand had already been conceded. And in a situation like this, you know that you do not get everything you ask for. So I would be lying if I said that every single demand of the movement has been met by today's revised draft. But some of the concerns that we had yesterday, like concerns about cases, we did want to commit to a situation where we commit to withdrawing the movement even before the cases were withdrawn, or we had an order, we had an assurance about that. That was our concern. Concern was that yesterday's draft mentioned only a few states. We wanted about all the states. We had concerns about MSP committee. What exactly would that committee do? What was the mandate?
What is the proposal of the government as far as MSP committee is concerned? Because that was, after the 3 laws, I believe that was your most important demand.
Absolutely. So it's not that the government has, government would have accepted the idea of giving legal guarantee. That certainly hasn't. But our assessment of the revised draft from the government is that it gives us a foothold. It's a long struggle. This is not going to happen overnight. And you cannot continue morchas like this indefinitely. So we thought, looking at the proposal that we had today to consider, we thought this gives us a foothold for future, that if we get a committee which clearly is committed to implementation of MSP and ensuring that every farmer in this country gets MSP, that is already a big step forward. So we thought these are important things. These are important gains. And as I said, the collective view was there comes a point where you say, all right, what we have gained is enough for the time being. We shall live to fight another battle.
Can I just take you back to the month of January, Mr. Yogendra Yadav? I believe that was the time when you had last formal meeting with the government's representatives on your demands. As far as the 6 key demands are concerned, you just keep the issue of farm law bills aside, the 6 key demands that you are talking about. Was the thought similar during that meeting as well? Or do you think now government has had a change of heart?
I don't know. And honestly, well, we've said a lot of things about the government. Yes, we were forced to say very harsh things about the government and the manner in which the government handled the whole thing. May I say today is not the occasion to get into that.
Okay. But lastly, before we let you go, do you see it as a climb down? Because you know, the government was quite vocal about the benefits of the reforms that it was bringing in this particular sector. Many called it a 1991 moment as well for the farm sector that is long due.
I must say, if this entire debate has shown us one thing, it is that the word reform has been hijacked. The word reform has been hijacked by corporates, by very selected, interest. And it's time we restored the word reform to well-being of the people. After all, what is reform for farmers which does not bring happiness to farmers? What is a reform for farmers which farmers don't like, which farmers want to get away from? So I do hope that one lesson this country learns from this entire debate, and the fact that the government had to yield, the fact that in the last instance, farmers will prevail. The one lesson everyone would learn is, before you reform someone, have a word with him or her. That may not be a bad idea.
Mr. Yogendra Yadav, we leave it there, but appreciate you joining us here on Mirror Now and sharing with us your perspective. All eyes, of course, are going to be on that very important meeting at 12 o'clock tomorrow, and Mirror Now is going to keep you ahead on this big story from the border areas of the national capital. Meanwhile, here are some other reactions that we've got for you today. Listen in.
साहब क्या कहेंगे, आज आंदोलन हम ये माने कि खत्म हो गया है या आप घोषणा कर रहे हैं?
नहीं, अभी घोषणा नहीं। हाँ। जो भी होगा वो कल होगा।
किस चीज का इंतजार है? सरकार की तरफ से प्रपोजल एक्सेप्ट हो गया?
पूरे हाँ प्रपोजल होगा, यहाँ पे भी प्रपोजल होगा, पक्के कागज मिल जाए।
पक्के
कागज मिल जाए और आगे की क्या हमको वो बनानी है उस पर अपना चर्चा।
जैसे एमएसपी के ऊपर कमेटी के बाद आप डे 1 से बोलते आ रहे हैं कमेटी तो बन सकती है। कमेटी तो ऑलरेडी सरकार ने खुद पहले भी बनाई थी, जिसके सीएम साहब जो पीएम साहब है वो खुद मेंबर रह चुके हैं।
ये कोई
तो अभी क्या है
जी, ये कोई किराए की नहीं है। कुछ सरकार भी सांस ले लेगी, कुछ हम भी सांस ले लेंगे। हाँ
तो आंदोलन कहा जाए, सस्पेंड कहा जाए या खत्म कर रहे हैं?
नहीं, खत्म थोड़ा होता है, कोई भी चीज खत्म नहीं होती, वो स्थगित
जब तक
होता
कानून
है।
नहीं बनेगा।
स्थगित रहते हैं, यहाँ से आंदोलन समापन हो जाएगा यहाँ का,
हाँ
आगे अपनी फेर तय करेंगे। और बहुत मुद्दे आते रहते हैं
ठीक है, तो
उसमें।
मतलब मतलब गाजीपुर बॉर्डर कल के बाद अनाउंस हो जाएगा, खाली कब
ऐसा
करेंगे
नहीं है,
आप?
रुक जा महाराज, इतने जल्दी क्यों करें?
जी
जो भी होगा वो इकट्ठा होगा,
जी।
कल 12 बजे के बाद में हम बताएंगे।
Yesterday, the proposal that the government sent, many of us felt in the SKM that it was faulty. There were certain mistakes in it, certain lacunae in it. After that, we gave a letter to the government yesterday night, where we gave them our suggestions.
Okay.
Today morning, they returned with a fresh draft, a revised draft, which we placed before the SKM meeting today.
Okay.
That was unanimously accepted by the SKM,
Okay.
but at the same time, this is only a piece of paper.
Okay.
Now we are going to wait for the official letter
Okay.
with a signature of the minister or whichever authority